Federal Executive Council on Public Servants Life Insurance directs MDAs to collaborate with private sector, aims at building stronger domestic businesses. The Federal High Court fixed Tuesday 13th May for hearing motion on contempt of court order in Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the National Assembly matter. Remains of renowned ABU educationist and member Presidential Committee on Housing and Urban Development, Idris Dauda Suleiman, laid to rest in Zaria. Hello, and welcome to the news at 11 on NTA News 24. We are reaching you live from Abuja. My name is Frama Panyi, and now the news in full. The Federal Executive Council has directed ministries, departments and agencies of government to collaborate more with the private sector with the aim of building a stronger domestic businesses and grow the economy. Now, this is part of the outcomes of the Council's meeting this Monday. State House correspondent Musbah Wahab reports that the Council also approved the Group Life Insurance Scheme 2025 to 2026 policy year.
Infrastructure development and welfare of Nigerians, particularly the public servants, dominated discussions at the 6th meeting of the highest decision-making body for the year. With a renewed hope Nigeria First policy and a board for the cotton, textile and garment subsector on the way, there are indications of better days ahead for local industries. And the Minister of State Industry expresses great hope for the sector.
The contribution in terms of economic value of implementing this policy is upwards of about 3 trillion, naira annually. It's going to contribute to about 20% growth in the manufacturing sector in the next 3 years, contribute about 500,000 jobs in the short term, and lead to a reduction in about 30% of unnecessary foreign import.
The Council is also following up on these with the latest directive to MDAs to increase collaboration with the private sector for the overall goal of a more prosperous economy.
The government is saying that there is the increasing need for people in the private sector to participate actively in our economic growth here as a nation, and therefore wherever there are private sector players that can participate using their own funds, and we have seen an increased appetite among private sector players to come in and contribute their own quota towards the infrastructure revamp of the economy, especially in the area of roads construction.
On social welfare, the Council approved the Group Life Assurance Scheme 2025-2026 policy year for public servants, including the paramilitary.
The Group Life Assurance Scheme covers key government officials comprising Mr. President, the Vice President, the Chief of Staff, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Honorable Ministers, the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Permanent Secretaries and staff of federal government ministries and Treasury-funded agencies. And this means that if the unfortunate incident of death occurs, the deceased public servant's next of kin stands to have a benefit to help the family, cushion the family at that time.
Meanwhile, the government is also taking another step toward lowering the cost of drugs and increase wider access to quality health care in the country.
Federal Executive Council approved Medipool. It's a group purchasing organization for competitive pricing and to be a supplier of essential medicine and healthcare products across Nigeria that are funded through the federal government's intervention, the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, but also potentially outside that through federal tertiary hospitals.
Ministry of Works got Council's approval for 6 reviewed inherited road projects that include Section 2 of the East-West Road. The minister also highlighted that about 20 road projects are now ready for inauguration.
We have also, manifested another 33 projects that will be ready by December 2025, that will be ready for commissioning. And what we have recommended to FEC is that the 260 projects that Nigeria Union of Journalists, Road Transport Workers, Petroleum Transport Workers, and so on and so forth should be co-opted with the National Assembly to move around the geopolitical zone and get these projects commissioned.
The Council also gave approval to the National Policy on Employment, where the 3 approvals for the aviation sector include the provision of command and control centers for the regional airports in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kano, and Enugu. The Council equally put to rest the doubt about its debt service obligation with confirmation that Nigeria has indeed completed repayments of a $3.4 billion IMF COVID-19 loan.
We have paid that debt fully. Of course, this was taken during the COVID time before the coming of this administration. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his usual way, is seeing government as a continuum. Now, this has gone a long way to show investors, especially investors from outside this country, about the seriousness and the capacity of government to pay up loans when they take it. It has indeed increased our rating the world over.
Another meeting of the Council has been scheduled for Wednesday this week. From the State House, Musbal and Wahab, NC News.
And still from the State House, President Bola Tinubu has inaugurated 2 newly appointed National Commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The President also swore in 2 new board members of the Code of Conduct Bureau. 4 of them took oath of office before President Tinubu at the commencement of the Federal Executive Council meeting for this Monday. While Tukul Abdulrazak Yusuf from Katsina State represents Northwest, Professor Sunday Aja from Ebonyi State is representing Southeast in the vacancies that existed in the Electoral Commission. Kenneth Ipeme from Cross River State and retired Justice Ibrahim Buba from Taraba State are the new board members of the Code of Conduct Bureau. Now, Nigeria is taking bold steps to construct digital highways and bridges that will carry micro, small and medium enterprises across borders into the heart of the African market. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this while inaugurating the Oversight Committee recently approved by President Tinubu to organize Nigeria's hosting of the 4th African Union Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Forum, scheduled to hold between June 23 and 27 in Abuja. Let's get details from State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila.
An estimated 83% of employment in Africa lies in the informal economy. The continent is not short on ideas and digital innovation that offer an unprecedented window to compete with the rest of the world. And Nigeria's hosting of the 4th African Union Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Forum is another step to take advantage of transforming the informal economy into the global stage.
We'll support all the institutions to see to the realization that we have successfully hosted Africa. And I want to convey to you President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's assurance that Nigeria is ready to lead in shaping Africa's digital trade future. Our national digital economy strategy and digital trade policy are aligned with AfCFTA. We are harmonizing our laws to make cross-border commerce seamless, secure, and scalable. This is not just an economic goal, it is our commitment to the African dream.
Nigeria once again recovers its place in the Committee of Nations. And so hosting this is not just about gathering people here, it's also an affirmation of the kind of work the administration is doing to ensure that a job is not just created, but Nigeria is also getting the kind of recognition it so deserves on the global stage.
Vice President Kashim Shettima said the IDICE program, a $617.7 million investment in digital and creative enterprises, and the $3 million Tech Talent program, set out to achieve by training Nigerian youth in coding, data science, and digital fluency to power the nation's transformation.
A multifaceted committee that has been set up to essentially ensure that we organize the forum and have a very, very good outing for Nigeria. So there's a lot of anticipation based on the fact that Nigeria is hosting this forum for the first time.
I mean, Nigeria's MSME space is very active. And if you're looking at a space that engages upwards of about 40 million people, and in terms of what they're doing for country, in terms of job creation, in terms of how much it alleviates poverty and all of that.
The amount of MSMEs that we have in this country, well over 30 million. And if the total number of MSMEs in Africa is about 60 million, so you can rightly say that more than half of the entire MSME space is domiciled here.
Members of the committee assured that efforts will be put in place to ensure that Nigeria successfully hosts the forum, while small businesses in Nigeria leverage the platform to improve in areas of access to affordable finance and markets. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
The House of Representatives says it will continue to enact laws that align with national development goals and have direct impact on the welfare of Nigerians. Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, stated this in an inaugural national policy dialogue on the legislative agenda of the House of Representatives, which held in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ibn reports.
This inaugural national policy dialogue solicits feedback on the 8-point legislative agenda of the 10th House of Representatives. It is part of Parliament's quest for appraisal and suggestions to build consensus on areas requiring legislative attention.
Facilitate the speedy passage of the national labor laws, which will be brought before the House in a short time to come. These bills include Labor Standard Bill, Collective Labor Relations Bill, Occupational Safety and Health Bill, Labor Institutions Bill, the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund Act 2010.
The Federal Minister of Agriculture and Food Security is currently reviewing all the various laws that affect agriculture, because we are working to make agriculture a business.
To improve business and investment environment in the country, and this of course entails some legislative measures.
As legislators, we must enact laws and support proactive, intelligence-driven security measures.
Ensuring that the state policing question is appropriately addressed by the 10th House of Representatives.
No matter the language we have used in crafting this agenda, it will not bring transformation. What brings transformation is not what we know, it is what we do.
The leadership of the House takes pride in 198 bills passed at mid-term out of more than 2,000 bills introduced, which are crucial to economic prosperity and the emancipation of the masses.
We have enacted critical legislation such as the anti-doping law, the student loan law, and the data protection law to drive change, secure our communities, and protect the welfare of our people. We will continue to act with courage and with determination.
Nigeria is witnessing a paradigm shift, a transition from potential to performance, from challenges to solution, and from despair to hope.
The 8 points legislative agenda reveals the aptness to the nation's critical challenges and capacity for national transformation.
The House hopes to sustain the national policy dialogue to promote an open parliament. Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Into the judiciary sector now, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has fixed Tuesday, 13th May, for the hearing of motion on contempt of court order in the Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the National Assembly matter. Upon resumption of the trial, counsel to second defendant informed the court that he has filed an affidavit calling the attention of the court to the violation of the court order, which states that parties should desist from making comments or publishing about the case on social media. He alleged that the plaintiff has violated the court order by publishing a satirical letter to the Senate President on her Facebook page. Counsel to the plaintiff equally informed the court that there is a pending contempt of court on the defendants. The plaintiff counsel averred that Justice Emeka Nwite has restrained the Senate from suspending Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan pending the outcome of an ex parte motion, but the Senate went ahead and suspended her for 6 months. This, the plaintiff counsel maintained, that is a gross contempt of court order which should not be overlooked. After hearing both parties, Justice Binta Nyako ordered the parties to return to court on Tuesday by 12 noon to adopt the motions filed on contempt of court. We'll pause here and take a short break. We will be back with more news. Welcome back. Now, stakeholders are recommending the provision of the wherewithal needed in overcoming challenges of out-of-school children in the northeastern part of Nigeria. Abubakar Musa reports that this was at the trainers workshop for Tsangaya and Islamic teachers within the northeast, organized by the Nigeria Arabic Language Village in Ngala in collaboration with the Northeast Development Commission.
With the theme Modern Techniques of Teaching Arabic for Peace Building, Integration of Arabic Calligraphy, the Train the Trainers workshop for 600 Tsangaya and Islamic teachers across northeastern states is for trainees to be equipped with the required Arabic skills, methodology, and contemporary knowledge of teaching towards ensuring total elimination of out-of-school children within the shortest possible time. Flagging off the program, Nigeria's Minister of Education, Maruf Tunji Alausa, represented by the Vice-Chancellor, Al-Ansar University, Professor Abubakar Kundili, underscored federal government's unrelenting commitment in addressing pressing issues militating against getting school-age children off the street.
This is an outcome of a collaboration between the Arabic Language Village and then the Northeast Development Commission.
Borno State Deputy Governor, represented by the Commissioner for Religious Affairs, explained the action plan that has already been put in place by the Zulum administration to restructure Tsangaya and Islamic systems of education to make it more attractive for all out-of-school children. Director and Chief Executive Officer, Nigeria Arabic Language Village Gala, Professor Ibrahim Muhammad said, with the overwhelming support being extended to the organization by both state and federal governments, elimination of out-of-school children is feasible. Representatives of traditional leaders threw their weight behind the program, describing it as the right step in standardizing Tsangaya and Islamic systems of education. The event also featured inauguration of Maruf Tijani Alausa ICT Center. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, says remarkable progress has been achieved in the ongoing airlift of Nigerian pilgrims for the 2025 Hajj, following the successful airlift of 19% pilgrims in 3 days. Dr. Alabi reports that 9,691 pilgrims have been airlifted, with a total flight of 24 for this year's Hajj.
Within 3 days of commencement of airlift of pilgrims, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, says notable improvement has been made from the 9% airlifted within the same period in 2024. Air Peace has concluded the airlift of Kogi State pilgrims, transporting 559 out of the 564 scheduled. Similarly, Max Air has completed the airlift of Oyo State pilgrims with a total of 1,083 pilgrims successfully conveyed to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Imo and Abia states have also completed their operations with the exception of a few no-show pilgrims during the inaugural flight. These, according to the Commission, will be accommodated in the mop-up flights later in the exercise. For Nasarawa State, with 944 pilgrims, Umza Air is concluding its operation currently with a final flight already on the ground, preparing for takeoff. Going forward, Umza Air is scheduled to begin the airlift of Kaduna State pilgrims on 14th May and will operate back-to-back flights. Flyers will commence the airlift of Sokoto pilgrims on the 13th of May and, barring any changes, will begin operations for Abuja pilgrims on 16th May. Airpeace is slated to begin the transportation of Borno pilgrims on 18th May. NACON Chairman Professor Abdullah Saleh Usman, in a release by the Commission's Assistant Director Information and Publication Fatima Sanda Uzara, acknowledges the performance of the airlines, the State Pilgrims Board and other stakeholders for their cooperation that facilitated the smooth and timely movement of pilgrims. In the meantime, information from NACON Command and Control Center in Abuja indicates that UMZA flight UMZ 3406 on Monday departed Abuja to Medina at 16:04 hours with 256 Nasarawa pilgrims, including 143 males, 113 females, and 38 officials. And from the same NACON Command and Control Center in Abuja at Monday, May 12, 2025, UMZA flight UMZ 3506 also departed Mina to Medina at 21:54 hours with 484 Niger pilgrims, including 320 males and 164 females, as total airlift at the time of this report is now 9,691, bringing total flights to 24. In Abuja, Tokbe Alabi, NTA News.
The remains of Malam Idris Dauda Suleiman have been laid to rest at the Fati Sonka graveyard in Zaria City. Lawal Sallau Inua reports that the renowned educationist of the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria died after a brief illness.
Here are the sympathizers that converged to pay the last respect to one of the key players of urban and regional planning in Nigeria. Aged 74, Malam Idris Suleiman died in hospital after a brief illness. A renowned educationist, Malam Idris was during his lifetime served as pioneer managing director of Mogadishu Property Limited, general manager Kasubda, and head of department urban and regional planning Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. He also served as chairman Kaduna State Land Use Committee, member Presidential Committee on Housing and Urban Development, among others.
It's a great loss, not only to his family, but to the entire nation. He's such a great icon in the profession of urban and regional planning. He has helped build the discipline of urban and regional planning in the university itself. In fact, very specifically, he is among the first generation of Nigerians to head the Department of Urban and Regional Planning, under whom the bachelor's degree was started. So he has left a big vacuum.
A very gentleman, very humble, very kind. In fact, complete gentleman.
Idris is a great man to all of people from Kachia and people of Zaria and Muslim Ummah.
He was a leader par excellence. He had sacrificed his time and energy for the progress of our community, especially in the area of educational development and anything that has to do with our community. He was a great leader.
Baba has been a father, a friend, a mentor, everything you think of. He has been a father and a mother. Since we lost our mother, for the past 15 years, Baba has been playing both roles.
Survived by 6 children, grandchildren, and many relatives. He has since been buried according to Islamic rite at the Fadisanka graveyard in Zaria City. From Zaria, Lawal Sallau Inua, NTA News.
And that's where we end the news at 11 on NTA News 24. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.